Hello and welcome to You Need to Know with me, your host, SM22. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. Well, you need to know. What is it? Well, let me tell you what it is. Because you need to know. We like funny jokes over here. It is a weekly news show where I tell you everything that's going on, whether it's good or bad. And I try to tell you what it means and what it means to us, what it means to the world, specifically how you can use this information for your personal gain in the future. I try to be as unbiased as I possibly can while looking at this news. Expect jokes, mostly a lot of bad ones, but I'm trying to keep the news as lighthearted as possible because honestly, it's not really that lighthearted just in general. Every Tuesday, we are going to be premiering the previous week's news here on the channel, so expect that at 8 a.m. PST every Tuesday. It's Tuesday because it gives me enough time to prepare the news from the weekend and just move into that week's news. In addition to weekly news, every 2 weeks we will do a special episode where we will cover an in-depth topic. We will deep dive into it, specifically one that could be very useful to people just in general. For example, we could go over the history of the coronavirus. We can go over the history of a certain person, of a certain group. Something important to a lot of people. Not just Americans, not just Brits, Canadians, not just Indians, a lot of people. Just everybody can find this useful, hopefully. And we hope to have a lot of these episodes, hopefully. So yes, if you guys are wondering where the news is for this week, well, let me tell you. The news is right here. Let's get into our headlines. This week was very important because in America, the primaries are starting on today, actually, where this episode is being released. It is Super Tuesday in America, which means the Democrats are holding their Super Tuesday primary. Obviously, the Republicans have already nominated President Donald Trump for the nomination. The Democrats have not yet decided, but as of today, or as of now, Tom Steyer has damn it. The Republicans have obviously chosen Donald Trump as their nominee, but as of this point, Pete Buttigieg has dropped out of the race. Tom Steyer has dropped out of the race. It's basically a three-way race between Michael Bloomberg, Bernie Sanders, and Joe Biden. So Super Tuesday is pretty big. The primary, actually, in South Carolina on Saturday was huge for Biden. It was his first big win in the primaries, which is what he needed. He needed a big win to boost his self-esteem a little bit, get him prepared for Super Tuesday, hopefully where he could win a lot of states. While I'm not officially endorsing anybody, I will say Biden did need that South Carolina win in order to boost himself up to these primaries. 14 states are voting on Super Tuesday. So if you are in one of those states, go out and vote, please. It's very important that you do. If you don't vote, then you're not really helping the cause, which isn't really as helpful as you might think. So hopefully you guys all voted. If you did not vote, please just go vote. It's very important. So that's first headline. Second headline. The coronavirus is making its way across the world. Italy is on a complete lockdown, as is Japan almost. The Tokyo 2020 games are at risk of being put down, canceled actually. But no one has confirmed anything as of yet. But I'm betting money on it being canceled just because of the coronavirus. 2 people in the United States have died so far, which is scary. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying don't be fucking scared of this thing. I am saying be knowledgeable about where your fear is coming from. For example, a lot of people are saying that the coronavirus is not a big deal. It is. Trust me, it is a big deal, especially if you are an older demographic. If you are above the age of 50, you are at risk for coronavirus death. If you are below the age of 50, you are less likely to die because less people under the age of 50 have been killed. But that does not mean you shouldn't worry. You should stock up. I do recommend getting 2 weeks worth of groceries maybe, you might have to stay isolated in your house. For example, in China and I think part of Japan, they are requiring people to stay put in their house, which is kind of a big deal. I mean, it's gotten to the point where it's on total lockdown, China. So just be careful, stay safe. Don't buy those goddamn masks, because those masks don't do nothing. Literally, it's weird. People are buying these masks like it's crazy, but the masks don't do anything. The mask is just there for show, honestly. Just to be like, hey, I could spend $400 on a mask. No, like, I could Photoshop a mask onto me right now. Bam. I'm doing the same thing. And the coronavirus is scary. Don't let it kill you, but be cautious. So that's basically the big news of the week. Let's jump over to the desk. No. I mean, normally we play the intro. Do the transition. Okay. Hi. Yes, we are here at the desk. Thank you. Now, as I mentioned, coronavirus is a big deal. Now let's jump into why it's important to you specifically. Let's just pretend that you live in America, or as most of my audience does, America or Britain, apparently. Hey, shout out to all you Britain people. Y'all are really good people. I appreciate you. Appreciate you being on the team. But anyway, let's jump into this very important topic. So, coronavirus is all over the world. It is a big deal. Don't treat it like it's not. I said that a second ago in my opening monologue, but trust me, it will get worse. There will be it is an epidemic. That's what it is. It's an epidemic. Its whole purpose is just to kill people. And unfortunately, I feel like America is not doing as much as it should to combat this. Now, this might just be me, but I mean, we're not doing that great. Now, there are solutions that we're coming up with. President Donald Trump has put Mike Pence in charge of something, like with dealing with the coronavirus, which is weird because Mike Pence has no medical experience. He has no idea what he's doing out there. He doesn't know medicine. Now, yes, someone on the cabinet does, Dr. Ben Carson, but Ben Carson has not only been retired for some time now, he's a surgeon. He's not dealing with diseases. He's a surgeon. So, just with whatever it is, if President Donald Trump is watching this, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I appreciate your view. I'll admit, I wouldn't vote for you, but you know what? You are still my president. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it if you are. But here's what I would give you a solution to. On Sunday, March 1st, Pete Buttigieg officially dropped out of the race for the Democratic nomination. He said that he didn't see a foreseeable future where he could become president. And I was like, okay. It's weird because Pete Buttigieg wasn't actually doing that bad. Throughout the entire campaign, he was consistently second or third place. In Iowa, he took first. In New Hampshire, he took second. In Nevada, he took fourth, which was a drop. But in South Carolina, he also took fourth, which wasn't bad. I mean, he's done worse. Like Tom Steyer had a better South Carolina turnout, which is probably what made Pete Buttigieg think, hey, maybe I'm not fit to be in this race if more people are voting for Tom Steyer than they are for myself. But there's a lot of different things that are going into play. For example, Pete Buttigieg is, if you don't know who he is the first openly gay presidential candidate. Now, that is a big deal because it's very progressive. While I personally am not gay, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people who are. And I am friends with a lot of people who are. And those people found it very helpful that Buttigieg was gay. Because in that, it gave them a symbol to kind of be like, hey, we are important as well. And that's fantastic. That's perfect. When Barack Obama was running for president in 2008, I was all for it because I was like, hey, colored people need representation, as do homosexuals. So, Pete Buttigieg, I was on board. I was like, hey, if he becomes president, cool. I would not be upset at that. And he was doing pretty good. But Pete Buttigieg's one problem was that he was very white. That's the problem. He did not fit with colored voters at all. And I can see why. Think about it. He's a gay dude from Indiana. That's it. Indiana. Just once you see South Bend, Indiana, you know this man is not meant to be for colored voters. He is specifically not doing that great. He took 3% of the non-white vote in South Carolina. That isn't good. That is not good, like, at all. Just because of the sheer amount of non-coloredness that he has. For example, in a clip, he tried to raise the roof. He tried to do this. Like, that's not how you do. It's this, buddy. It's not this. It's this. Come on. It was a few weeks ago. But we're still going to hold it over his head for the rest of our lives. Can we just keep that clear? Sometimes when I'm feeling sad, I'll just play that clip again. And it will make me feel better because I know that I can raise the roof better than Pete Buttigieg can, which is very important to me. It's the most important thing in my current world. Tom Steyer also dropped out of the presidential race on Saturday, February 29th. It was expected because it's Tom Steyer. I mean, like, he's cool and I get it. Like, hey, you're a pretty progressive dude. Like, perfect. Good for you, buddy. But he wasn't going to win. I kind of thought from the get-go, like, hey, he's probably not going to win. I get it. So when he announced that he was dropping out, I wasn't that surprised. But I did note that he's a good dude. Like, you know what? Like, Tom Steyer, go for it. Do the justice reforms that you're doing. Just don't do it from office. Because if you're in office, you can't really do anything, really. Like, so just leave it alone, I guess. And on that note, we are going to conclude the show. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Really, I do. I've been wanting to start a news show for quite some time now, actually, because I like giving my political input. I like talking about things. I like just doing things all over the world. If you do have news stories that come up in the next week or so, please let me know, just so that I can make sure to be completely informed for everything. Next week, we will be back with whatever news is going on next week. I like how the news is different each and every week, and we were able to talk about it each and every week. I'm very excited for I'm very excited for what's to come. I'm very excited for who is going to be joining the news team. Hopefully in the future we can have some political analysts with us. We can have some more people with us. Hopefully. Who knows? We might not have anybody. But it might just be me for some time. But don't worry. We're going to bring a lot more to the table on You Need to Know. So, thank you. You know, while I'm sitting here, this is like part of the outtakes of this episode. I would like to say first off that the graphics were made by @AddyWee on Twitter. Go follow him on there. While we're on the subject of this, just like I have wanted to start a new show for a while. It's been like something that I've really wanted to do. So I really like just. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining the premiere, by the way, if you did. So, thank you. We'll see you next week. Thank you. We'll see you next week. This has been You Need to Know, and you knew what I know. And now, I need to know. Bye. I don't know. I'm trying to think of an outro catchphrase. If you guys have any good ones, send them my way.